Let me ask you three questions. How many leads did you generate last month? What percentage did you actually speak to? And what did your last closing cost you? Now, if you can't answer any of those questions within 10 seconds, I've got very hard news for you. You are not running a business, you are scraping for commissions, hoping the next deal is going to show up at your doorstep before your bank balance runs out. Today, I'm going to show you the 6 numbers that every agent must track. And by the way, 90% of you guys are not doing this, right? You need to know how to compare your lead sources properly. We'll use kvCORE, Zillow, ads, referrals as an example, and I'll show you a one-page dashboard, so super simple that you can copy literally this afternoon. By the end of this video, your income stops being a mystery and starts being predictable maths and predictable growth. My name's William Half. I'm owner of the biggest pay-per-lead marketing agency in the United States, Prime Listing Leads. So let's get into it. Right then. So there are 2 kinds of agents, and from the outside, they look identical, right? So firstly, we got the scraper. This measures his success by the last commission check. They have no idea how many leads came in last month. They don't know what they cost. They chase every new shiny lead source. They quit it in 60 days because they declare that those leads were trash, right? Their income is a roller coaster, feast, famine, panic, repeat. It's a nightmare. They work in pipeline every single day, never once on it. They work in their business, not on it, right? Now, the owner measures their pipeline health by using metrics like cost per closing. They know their lead volume. They know how many times they're dialing prospects, their contact rate, their conversion by source. They kill or scale lead sources based on data, not mood, right? Their income is forecastable 60 to 90 days out from what they're actively doing today. And here's the uncomfortable part for both. Both of these agents might earn the exact same this year, but the difference is going to show up next year and the year after that, the year after that. And it shows up brutally the moment the market turns. The scraper's problem was never the effort. I'm sure he's putting the effort in. It's the blindness. You cannot fix what you have not measured. And this goes the same for any business, right? Where do you think this phrase, we just view all employees as a number. We just try and, this is what the big private equity companies do. And this is what you should be doing. This is what I'm doing in my company right at the moment, because without this, you are literally and figuratively blind, okay? So why do the numbers matter so much? 3 reasons. 1, particularly in real estate, revenue is going to be a lagging indicator. The check that you cashed today was created by calls that you made 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago. And by the time your revenue drops, the cause is already ancient history and that quarter is already lost. But track the activity. You can see when the dip is coming now, okay? You can fix it before the problem ever is realized in your bank account. Step 2, every deal is a maths problem, right? Once you know your ratios, any income goal converts backwards into a daily activity target. Closings needed to appointments needed to contacts needed to leads. Like it's all one part of thing. And you can just solve this with maths. Look at the screen for an example, right? On these next couple pages. You want 24 closings a year at a 50% appointment close rate and a 10% contact to appointment rate. That's 4 appointments and 40 real conversations. That's 4 appointments and 40 real conversations a month, right? That's now you see what I've just done there? That's not a dream anymore, right? That is literally just a schedule. You have to do X to get Y output. It's simply maths. And I guarantee most people aren't even doing this. 3, numbers remove the emotion side of it. Okay, you really felt like this person was going to go through for you? Well, it's just another number. A bad week is going to feel like failure without these. The data may say your contact rate was fine and the lead volume dipped. Diagnose that stage, not yourself. All right. So let's get on to these 6 numbers, right? These are the most crucial ones. If you don't know these, then you're in a bad spot and you got to get to know them super, super quickly, right? 6 numbers, all it takes. Fits on 1 page. This should be something that you look at every single day. It takes 15 minutes a week. Number 1, leads generated, total leads in per lead source per month. On top of the funnel, everything downstream is going to depend on lead source. Secondly, leads contacted. And I mean actually reached, not dials, right? A real two-way conversation, not a voicemail. You need to define this strictly because loose definitions are gonna produce comfortable lies for you to just be, and they provide that false sense of security. Contacted divided by leads is your contact rate. Thirdly, contacts to listing appointments, right? And by the way, the beauty about all of these metrics as I'm about to give you is if you notice one lagging or changing from month to month, that clearly identifies the area and skills that you need to work on, and then you can measurably track your progress in that area. But number 3, contacts and listing appointments. So of the people you spoke to, how many people did you book? This isolates your script and your qualification. 4, appointment show rate. Booked versus actually sat, right? That measures your confirmation, reminder process, also a bit of call quality. And it's never just, bad luck. We can't just blame it on bad luck. 5, close rate from appointments. So of the appointments that you sat, that you went round to, listing appointments, how many signed? That's your presentation, skill, isolated and measurable, right? That's mainly your sales ability. 6, this big one, all of it split by lead source. Okay, so this is things like Referrals, Zillow, kvCORE, us, whatever you guys are going to choose, because this is the number that tells you where to spend, where to allocate all of your spend to, and where to stop, right? More on this is going to be in a minute, but notice what's happening here, right? This is what I went over in point 3. Each metric isolates exactly one skill or one system that may or may not be optimal. So when something's off, you are going to go have a look at this. You're going to have a look at the changes. And you can immediately, within 5 seconds, diagnose the issue. Cool. All right. Part 4, right? This is what I was speaking about earlier, the funnel, right? So let's just say in a single month that, you have a goal of 7 listings, right? You need to put in and iron down those metrics. So if you've got a 78% show rate, you're going to need a certain amount of appointments. You're gonna need 18 appointments. And then if you have a 60% contact rate, goes to this and leads in. Is this all making sense? So let's do it in reverse. 300 leads come in, you contact 180 of them at a 60% contact rate. Of those conversations, 18 book a listing appointments. 10% of contacts are going to book it from those 180. 14 actually show at a 78% show rate, and then 7 sign at your 50% close rate. If it's below 50%, that's something you definitely need to work on. Now, here is where it gets really interesting. At an average of $8,000 commission, let's just use the number 8,000. You guys may be higher, maybe lower, right? That funnel produced $56,000 in a single month, which means every single lead that walked into your door was worth about $187 before you ever spoke to it. Think about that. Next time a lead sits untouched in your CRM for days, you are not ignoring a name. You're literally, picture this, you're literally throwing $200 out the door. This is absurd, right? And once you see the funnel, every ratio becomes a lever. Lift that from the contact rate from 60 to 70%, same lead, same ad spend. You add roughly one more closing a month. That's $8,000. That's just a simple process tweak. Without these numbers, all you know is, I closed 7 this month. Pretty good month. Next month you closed 2. Oh, why was that? I think it was because, I didn't get enough leads in. Or I think it was because, I didn't manage to get through to them. But you don't know, do you? So you don't know what to work on. You see what I mean? Cool. Stage 5. So this is important when you're assessing lead sources because it all starts with leads, right? It all starts with cold contacts, right? It doesn't matter how you're doing this. If you've got a cold calling team, if you've got kvCORE, if you've got Referrals, Zillow, this is what I'm talking about because this is how you can assess which one's more effective. Also, you can have the cost here as well. So you can actually get the cost per closing, which is the most important thing that we want here. So the number that changes everything, close rate by lead source, right? Same funnel, split 3 ways. All these figures are illustrative, plug in your own, but the method is what I'm teaching you here. So kvCORE, your cold website and registration leads, 200 a month, high volume, low intent, 50% contact rate, 8 appointments, 2 signed. That's a 1% lead to close ratio. So about $400, $450 per closing. Pretty damn good if that is actually the case. Zillow ads, 1 in 40 leads, but look at the intent. 85% contact rate, 6 appointments, 2 signed, 5% lead to close. But, they are more expensive. You're looking, and this is probably not real numbers. It's probably considerably more than this if you're using Zillow or kvCORE. But let's just say it's $900, right? That's not amazing. We'd probably, in this scenario, look to scale up kvCORE. Referrals and Sphere, 12 leads, you reach all of them, sign 8 appointments, set 8 appointments, sign 5 because they're referrals, 42% close rate, are basically zero cost. So, if you can ramp this up, if you've got a great referral scheme, then 100% do this. So referrals win, right? But that's not the case. And this is the point that most agents miss, right? You cannot order 23 referrals next month. Referrals are phenomenal economics, but they do not have a scale lever. This is why you are forced to buy a lead generation project if you do want to scale, okay? Cold sources look worse per lead, but they're scalable and predictable. You can literally buy more on your pipeline on demand. And notice, judged on close rate, Zillow looks mediocre. Judged on cost per closing, $900 to make 8,000. That's pretty much a money printer in this scenario. Obviously, the actual Zillow is charging a lot more, and the close rate and their metrics are probably a lot less, depending on what kind of agent you are. This lack of tracking that I see basically every agent that I speak to, and I speak to agents every single day, right? They, for the life of them, they cannot tell me these numbers, which is absurd to me. Everyone is running this in the complete wrong way. Their verdict is never which source is the best. It's a portfolio, right? Protect the referral engine, scale the paid source. It's as simple as that, guys. And you need to know these metrics before this. Number 7, right? Okay. Each week number points to one broken system. Here's where the funnel pays for itself. I'm not closing enough. Has 5 completely different causes with 5 completely different fixes. And I'm going to give them to you right now because this is extremely valuable. And I don't see anyone else giving this kind of actionable advice to real estate agents on how to run this like a business. Low lead volume, that's a marketing problem. You need to add scale, add spend. More dials are not going to fix an empty problem. No contact rate. There is a speed and persistence problem. You need to be calling these guys within 5 different numbers. And I will die on this hill. You need to be borderline harassing these people. A lot of agents that I speak with, particularly the ones who are a little bit on the lower tier, they're scared to do this. And they can't say, oh, look, that's not my style. That's not how I do things. This is absurd, right? They literally have opted in if you've got a lead source. They are curious to know the data. Why are you scared of giving it to them? This baffles me. You're literally throwing your money away. What we spoke about earlier, each lead is worth $200 from this previous calculation. And you're literally saying, don't really want it. I've already called them once, already called them twice. Don't really want it. I would be hammering them every day. We have AI callers who, do this stuff for us. This is standard procedure in our company when we get a new prospect on the line, right? Call within 5 minutes, 8 to 12 attempts. Basic stuff, SMS sequences, it's either that or your data quality is poor, but unless you're going this hard on the contact rate, you cannot be sure. And also your contact sequence has got to be homogeneous across all lead sources so you can accurately measure them. Okay, next one, low appointment rate. Well, this is probably going to be a script problem. You're reaching out to people, but the conversations are not converting. That is a script problem. It is your qualification, the way you're coming across on the phone, the way you're asking for the booking. It can be many, many different things within that. And you can even go one step further than these basic metrics, and you can track each one of those, right? So for our company, we have over 50 sales personnel, right? And we track every single thing, how many dials they're doing, the frequency of their dials, everything, what they're saying in the call. Are they framing a certain offer in the call? Because we have AI analyzing all the transcripts. Are they over-promising? And we can see this at the rate that they're over-promising and give them personalized feedback, right? Cool. Next one, low show rate, confirmation problem, reminder sequences, a personal video confirmation, a reschedule protocol. That one's never bad luck. It's simply organization. You got to have the systems in place. Low close rate, final one. this is you, this is your job as a real estate agent. And if this is your problem, that's a skill that you've really got to work on. Your listing presentation, how you're coming across when you're showing people around the property, the agenda, the pre-faming, risk reversal, closing, sales skills. That's huge. Now, the discipline in this is you need to find one bottleneck, fix that stage, remeasure, see what the results are, and repeat. The agent who tracks nothing fixes everything at once. Change is, it's just, you need to do this, otherwise nothing is measurable. And it concludes that, leads are bad. Don't be that agent. You have to take some responsibility here. The best agents that I've seen take utmost responsibility for everything. They burnt 10 grand on a bad lead source. My fault. Should have checked the conversion rate. And guess what they do? They change it and they go and improve themselves. Here we go. Next part, delegation, right? Now, let's talk about how you're running this, right? Starting with delegation. So do this maths tonight. If your GCI divided by the hours that you actually work, that is your real hourly rate. Now, look what fills your calendar. Is it stuff like data entry? Is it stuff like follow-up chasing signatures, confirming appointments? Is it paperwork that's completely unnecessary that could be outsourced to an assistant online? That's literally $20 an hour work. And if you're a great agent, your time is valued way higher than that. Okay? So you need to delegate first. Initial follow-up, nurture, a VA, an ISA, people who's going to do that first, working on a defined script. If you've got a bunch of leads, if you've got hundreds of leads, you need to get an outsourced call center, ISA, VSA to do this stuff. Coordinate it. The CRM should be automated or should be updated by someone who is not yourself, should be tracking itself. All of these numbers that we spoke about, not tracked by you. This stuff can be done by someone else, just not you. Your job is to sell, right? Keep only what you can do only. And we're building a software at the moment, which is nearly entirely replacing real estate agents outside of going to listing appointments and being what a real estate agent should be, which is going around the houses and selling people and finding buyers, right? So sitting listing appointments, closings, negotiating offers, nurturing relationships, and reviewing the dashboard to then make management decisions. The test is simple. If your task does not require your license and your face, then it needs to be outsourced. And here's the connection that people miss. Delegation is only possible because you track. You can't hand off follow-up without a contact rate standard to hold someone to. You need training materials, you need KPIs. The numbers aren't just your scoreboard, they're your management system. So let's go on the dashboard here, okay? Now, here's 4 rules, right? 1 page, 6 numbers. These are going to be your key numbers. Then you can have numbers behind those numbers, meaning, let's say, show rate's down. We go into diagnose all the different factors that affect show rate, obviously. If it takes more than 5 minutes to review, it won't survive a busy week. Simplicity is what makes this thing permanent. Weekly cadence. Monthly is too slow, right, to course correct. Daily, I personally have metrics updated in my company, but a lot of people don't like that because it kind of confuses you, makes you, do these irrational decisions. Every Monday, last week's numbers against before, against target, 1 change, 1 decision made. You've got leading over lagging, contacts made this week, predicts, closings in 60 to 90 days. So in real estate, particularly with real estate agents, we need to make these tests for a longer enough period of time, minimum 60 days. Unfortunately, that's just how it is, but we've got to make this a fair test. Each number has their owner. So, is close rate down? Well, that's going to be you, right? Is the leads to contact ratio down? Well, that's going to be your ISA, isn't it? Someone's name has to sit next to each metric, and that is their responsibility to keep above KPI. Okay, let me show you what this exactly looks like, right? So this is a mock-up here of your basic command center. And look, if you're an agent without this, this is absurd. You can make this with AI, with ChatGPT, with Claude within minutes. You can even just have this on a Microsoft Excel, a spreadsheet, all of your numbers in one place, right? Whole business on one screen. I'm going to walk you through it, right? So across the top five KPI tiles, right? Each against its target. So 78 new leads, green, 12% over target, 61% contact rate, green, 6 appointments, red. The target was 8 from that kind of amount, 83% show rate, 2 signed at a 50% close rate. Cool. Bottom left, this month's funnel here, we can see this. So you can see the shape of the pipeline at a glance, basically. That's the value in this. Table by source, kvCORE, Zillow's, referrals, the cost on the paper closing on every single row right here. And the most important box of the entire page, right? Bottom right corner is this week's decision. Look at what it says. Appointments are red, but the contact is green. So it's not a lead problem. It's not a follow-up problem. It's a script problem. Decision. So you need to review that script with your ISA, Tuesday, and see basically what the issue was, diagnose it, make the change, implement it, and then measure it. 1 page, 5 minutes, 1 decision. That's the entire ritual. And you can rebuild this in a Google Sheet I could do this. I could give this with 1 prompt to ChatGPT and you could have this in 5 minutes. This layout matters far less than the discipline of filling this out every single week, right? So that was essentially what I had today. Recap one more time. All right. Track the 6 numbers: leads, contacted, appointments, show rate, close rate, all split by source. 2, judge the lead sources on cost per closing, not cost per lead, not gut feel, not any emotion, just simply numbers. 3, find the broken stage, fix it, remeasure it. 4, delegate a $15 per hour work. Keep the appointments, the negotiations, the key stuff that you need to be doing, the closings, the decisions, right? 5, 1-page dashboard every Monday, exactly 1 decision. Because here's the truth that most agents literally will never hear. You don't have a lead problem. You have a measurement problem. That was all from me. See you in the next one, guys.